You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hellgate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Friday the 31st of January, 2025. It is 41 days after the winter solstice. It is 48 days before the spring equinox. By the Islamic calendar, it is the first day of the month of Shaban. By the French Republican calendar, it is the 12th day of Pluvieuse, the day of broccoli. The sun rises today at 7:06 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:09 p.m. The sun sets today at 5:12 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 5:41 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 6:14 p.m. The length of daytime today is 2 minutes 10 seconds longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waxing crescent phase and is 6% full at midday. The first quarter will arrive on Wednesday, the 5th of February. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the early morning, low tide, 5:09 a.m., minus 18 centimeters. Near midday, high tide, 11:32 a.m., 1 meter 58. In the evening, low tide, 5:40 p.m., minus 30 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, as we await their return in the spring, think of the horseshoe crabs feeding far out in the deep waters of the continental shelf. In April and May, they will rise to the shallow waters and fill the shoreline as they meet and mate. Commemorations. On this day in the year 1800, Jane Johnston Schoolcraft, Orobaba Mwawa Geje Gokwa, was born. One of the earliest Native American literary writers, she had an Ojibwe mother and a father who emigrated from Belfast, Ireland. Her Ojibwe name means woman of the sound that the stars make rushing through the sky. She wrote mostly in English, but also penned poems in Ojibwe. She also translated Ojibwe songs into English. Her poem, Lines Written at Castle Island, Lake Superior, begins with these lines. Here in my native inland sea, from pain and sickness would I flee, and from its shores and island bright, gather a store of sweet delight. Its closing lines read, For here there are no sordid fears, no crimes, no misery, no tears, no pride of wealth the heart to fill, no laws to try my people ill. On this day in 1872, Zane Grey, author of Riders of the Purple Sage, was born. The prolific writer of adventure tales set in the Old West was largely dismissed as a writer of pulp fiction by literary critics, but he enjoyed an immense readership. His stories inspired innumerable Hollywood films and early television series. His books were instrumental in establishing a myth of the Old West, which held sway in mainstream American culture for much of the 20th century. On this day in 1942, Derek Jarman, the avant-garde English director, was born. His film Sebastiane, about the early Christian martyr and gay icon Saint Sebastian, was shot with dialogue entirely in Latin. His film The Last of England was a brutal commentary on the era of Margaret Thatcher. He is also remembered for the strange and original garden he created at Prospect Cottage in Dungeness on the south coast of England. He died of AIDS in 1994 at the young age of 52. And that is the Observatory, Friday the 31st of January, 2025.